Hi, it's Look Movie Recaps here. Today I'm explaining a 2018 action and science fiction film. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. In the starting scenes, we see students in the school cafeteria in their lunch break. Out of nowhere, a girl suffers from something. Her eyes start glowing and she starts shaking like crazy until she falls right to the floor and dies. We then know that she is the first one to die in the school. After a month and a half later, her entire class dies. After a while the news informs us that the name of the disease is IAAN, and what is happening is something horrible for the parents, who have children because almost 98% of the children in the cities die. Also reports that there are strange accidents for children, and a warning appears that if anyone finds their children behaving strangely, they should report it to the Centers for Disease Control. On the other hand, we see a beautiful girl named Ruby. She is given a toy pendant she wished for by her family on her birthday. Shortly, her mother is worried about her, but Ruby tells her not to worry because she is fine. In the evening, Ruby can't sleep, so she goes to her parents' room while they are sleeping and she tells her mother in a low voice, "Don't worry, it's me." But as soon as Ruby holds her mother's hand, her eyes start glowing and there is a spark between their hands, so she feels terrified and she immediately goes to her room. In the morning, Ruby wakes up and talks with her mother, but she doesn't remember her. She asks her, "Who are you?" Scared, Ruby tells her that she is her daughter and that she gave her this gift yesterday. But she can't remember and locks Ruby in the garage. Ruby screams and tells her mother that she didn't do anything wrong, and asks her why she is locking her up. Ruby keeps crying until a group of the Epidemic Control Center arrives and they take her. We learn that the government isn't worried about the children who died but afraid of those who are still alive. Then they transfer the surviving children like Ruby to an army camp. As soon as they arrive, they put the children next to each other. Shortly, one of the children tries to escape but he is stopped and he is hit. Then the boy uses his powers onto the officer that hit him, and manages to control her and makes her kill herself. He is then grabbed quickly and beaten. They take the rest of the kids away, including Ruby. She is taken to the medical examination and the doctor explains to her that they are classified according to their abilities, and their abilities are identified by the color of their eyes. First color is green, and they are the smartest. After that, the blue one has the ability to control things remotely, and the golden one can control the electricity. The most dangerous colors are red and orange and they are rare to find, and when they are found, they are killed instantly. On the screen the result appears to him that Ruby is orange and they must get rid of her immediately. Meanwhile, Ruby senses that the doctor wants to kill her, so she tries to run away. The doctor notices and catches her. Then Ruby holds his hand and manages to control his mind. She orders him not to say that she is orange. Then the doctor changes her result and makes her green. In the camp, they divide the children according to their abilities and their colors: green, blue and golden. Of course there is no red or orange because they kill them. After 6 years, Ruby is in the camp and the soldiers make a noise test for her and the rest of her colleagues, but Ruby can't stand it anymore so she falls on the ground and they take her to the hospital. In the hospital, Ruby meets Dr. Kate and she tells Ruby that she is the only one who passed out during the test, indicating that she is an orange, so she is soon going to be killed. Suddenly, one of the guards enters and tells the doctor, "Your time's up." Kate writes something quickly on the paper and tells her that she must escape immediately or they will get rid of her, and leaves her a key. Then Ruby manages to escape and she meets Kate where they had planned and they run away through the back door of the hospital. At the gate, the guard wants to get Ruby out of the car to know who she is, but Ruby manages to control his mind. She orders him to let them go with no further questions, and he does as told right away. In the morning, Ruby wakes up and finds herself finally outside the camp. After that, she asks Dr. Kate where are the people. Kate replies that most people went to work in big cities after what happened. Then she gives Ruby a chain and tells her that this is a tracking device. If she ever finds herself in danger, she has to press it and she will be able to find her location. Later, Kate stops the car and goes to meet her friend Rob. And by the look, they are in a relationship. Rob gives her a bag with new clothes so that she can change. Meanwhile, Ruby is about to fall but Rob catches her, and when he touches her, Ruby is able to see into his mind and sees that he was running after children and treating them like monsters, and finds out that he isn't a good man. In the gas station where Ruby goes to change her clothes, she meets a golden girl named Sue. Immediately they encounter. Sue electrifies the gas station and runs away. Ruby then runs after her. Sue reaches a van and enters it and closes it. When Ruby reaches the van, she asks Sue to open for her so that she can enter the van, because she has nowhere to go and no one to trust. Hearing this, Sue opens the car for her and she hides Ruby. After some while, Sue's friends arrive and they enter the car. One of them is called Chubbs and he is a green, and the second is called Liam and he is a blue. Shortly, they see Rob and Kate searching for Ruby. Out of fear, Liam drives the car quickly and they escape. On the way the boys ask Sue who are the guys that are coming after them. And who is Ruby? Ruby suddenly appears and tells them that she is. Liam stops the car and they ask Sue why she let her in, yet they don't want any strangers. Liam then asks Ruby if she ran away from the camp. Ruby accepts and she lies that she is a green so she won't be dangerous for anyone. After thorough convincing, Liam accepts to stay with her and they will all run away together. Shortly, a woman named Jane appears and she starts shooting fire at them. Liam asks Ruby to come drive. He makes a storm that diverts Jane's car into the forest, and then he barricades the road with a huge tree to stop Rob's car. Ruby asks her new friends about Jane and Chubbs. They tell her that she is a killer agent. Her job is to capture children like them for the government. Meanwhile, Liam invites Ruby to come with them to the East River. There is a huge gathering of children of their kind who live happily together. The person in charge of the place is called the Slip Kid. He is called so because he escaped 4 times from the army camp and he is a color orange. One of the rare ones like Ruby. Meanwhile, they decide to stop and rest at a hotel along the road, but while they are sleeping, Sue unknowingly touches Ruby's hand, and Ruby gets into Sue's dream and she witnesses how she ended up with Liam. She sees that there were many children who were killed during the escape, and also sees how Liam saved Sue while she was stuck. After that, Sue wakes up terrified of this dream, but Liam comes to her rescue and reassures her that it's just a dream. Ruby then realizes that Liam is a nice person and she is safe with him. In other scenes, they go to get some food and clothes, so they enter an abandoned mall, and Sue turns on the mall's electricity. While they are collecting their supplies, strange people appear, and they write on the ground telling them to get out. They make Ruby and Liam fly in the air. Sue appears and controls electricity, and she scares them. In the meantime, they find out that they are just children like them, and they apologize to them. Liam tells them that they had come to collect some supplies and they live. The strangers then tells them that they can take what they want and they can also spend the night with them. At night, they all talk about the Slip Kid, where they are heading. They ask if they know where to find the camp. The stranger kids don't want to tell them where the camp is exactly located, until Ruby tries to make one of them talk. He says one word. Edo. After Chubb searches for it, he finds a frequency on the radio, and they hear someone who says that the gathering place is at the Princess's Lake. They are very happy when they hear this. In the morning, Liam drives them to Ruby's house, because she asked him to see her family. When they reach, Ruby sees her mother, but she is afraid to enter because she knows that they won't recognize her. Ruby feels left alone, yet she is only a kid. She runs while crying. Liam finds her and tells her that it is better for her to forget the past. So they decided to go to the car and continue their journey. When they reach the car, Jane surprises them again. She hits Ruby, and then tries to control Liam with the frequency weapon. At this moment, Sue and Chubbs are already tied up. After tying Liam, she goes to tie Ruby as well. Unknowing that she is already awake, Ruby manages to control Jane's mind. The rest are so surprised because they thought she is green but realize later that she is an orange. Ruby orders her to drop the gun and go straight into the woods, and Jane does what she says. Ruby faints and falls to the ground, indicating that she hasn't learned how to use her powers. After a while, she wakes up, and goes to apologize to her friends for lying to them. Chubbs tells her that he knew she was an orange the first time he saw her, because she isn't as smart as him. Then they continue their journey to the Slip Kid camp. When they find the sign of Edo, they feel happy, but while they are walking, they meet a group of strangers who start shooting at them right away, and their leader orders Ruby and her friends to get down on the ground. But one of them, named Mike, remembers Liam, then orders everyone to stop shooting and tells Liam that he is welcomed at home. They enter the camp and meet children from everywhere. They go and meet the Slip Kid, and we find out that he is the president's elder son. His real name is Clancy. He tells them that the president is lying to the public, giving them the impression that her son is receiving treatment for the illness. This instills hope in parents, that one day their children who are in the army camps might receive treatment. In the morning, Ruby meets Clancy. He tells her what happened to him in the army camp. He says to her that they were treating him like a lab rat in order to find the cure that doesn't exist at all. He continues and says that his father didn't care about his screaming and mistreatment. Later, he starts teaching her how to control her abilities, and develops them for the better. In other scenes, Ruby goes and sits with Chubbs, who has immediately hated the camp. He complains to her that they eat at stipulated times, and are forced to work in this place, so he compares the place to the army camp they escaped from. After a while, it appears that Clancy is talking to someone on the internet, telling them, it's time for harvest. When Ruby enters his room, he quickly hides the chat, and then tries to assault her. But she manages to fight her way out. She meets with Liam outside. He wants to know what is wrong with her. She tells him what happened, so Liam wants to kill Clancy, but Ruby stops him, and suggests they run away from this place. Later at night, they take Sue and Chubbs with them. only to find the army camp director is awaiting for them. Liam tries to fight with him, but he is hypnotized by Clancy and he freezes. We find out that Clancy is working with the army. While Clancy is beating Liam, Ruby enters the colonel's brain and makes him set fire on himself. Sue starts electrifying the place and then they run. Shortly, the army planes arrive with children of a rare red color. They start spitting fire from their bodies and burn the place around them. Then, Ruby stands against Clancy and tells the rest to get out of there immediately. She faces him, but unfortunately he is so powerful and manages to bring Ruby to the ground. He asks her to let him enter her mind, but when Ruby spots a plane above them, she controls the pilot to bring the plane down to them, then she runs from the place quickly. Chubbs comes to her rescue, but because of the force of the explosion, the two of them fall and Chubbs is severely injured. With no expected help, she is left with no option but rather press the pendant that was given to her by Kate at the beginning. While she is seated with Chubbs waiting for help from Kate, Liam comes back and he insists he can't let her go alone, so he stays and they are captured together. A while later, Ruby wakes up and finds herself in the room. Kate tells her not to be afraid, and says that Chubbs is in the hospital but his condition is difficult and Liam is in their custody as well. Ruby requests that they let Liam go because he is not a criminal. Kate tells her that we can't let him go and they have to focus on fighting the president, and what he is doing in the camps. So Ruby accepts to fight on their side on condition they let Liam free. Kate accepts, but Liam can't just leave Ruby in strangers' hands. So Ruby tells Kate to leave that to her. She goes to meet with Liam, and she makes her forget their memories together and tells Liam to take care of Sue and Chubbs. After that, we see Ruby alongside Kate, as they train a group of children who have unique abilities like her to face the president's army. The film ends. If you've watched this far, thank you. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more recaps. Have a great day.